So let's talk about somebody that hasn't been mentioned on the channel and somebody that some people have probably forgot about. One member of the New Day. No, it's not Kofi Kingston. No, it's not Xavier Woods. It's Big E. Man, when last have we seen Big E in the WWE, man? Good
Bro,
Lord, it's been a fucking minute.
it was before
So,
Mania last year. That's how long it's been. That's crazy.
and he was a WWE champion before he got injured tragically. Good Lord. So, the purpose of today's video is we are going to be fantasy booking how Big E should return to the WWE. Now, I thought about this long and hard, and I think the best case for Big E is to return the night after WrestleMania. Because New Day don't have anything scheduled for WrestleMania. Like, at least we don't know right now. But we all know that Triple H is going to be once a lower match card right now. No more than 8. Let's just say that. So fellas, I want to know from you right now, how do we book Big E
I got a
to
question.
return?
I got a question. Are we booking realistically, or are we booking like as if the guy's gonna be ready next week? Because if we're booking
Let's
realistically,
book.
I'm gonna say we cannot fantasy book anything until Royal or anything before Royal Rumble next year. Because I do not think he's gonna be back until then. He's only getting
Yeah, yeah.
scans now again in March, so that's a couple days away. But the point is only getting scans then. Say those scans are, say there's progress, but it's not fantastic, so he's still got some work to do. There's more time out. Say his scans are good, I can guarantee you he's not ring ready. He's still gonna be probably got work to do thereafter. So I'm saying like a Royal Rumble return next year. I think that's as close as we're gonna get.
Hmm. This kind of defeats the whole purpose of my return after WrestleMania
No, but go
idea.
for your
But yeah,
fantasy booking. I mean, it could
Actually,
happen. It could happen.
well, if we are booking realistically, yeah, I say Royal Rumble because yeah, neck injuries are nothing to play about because look how long it took Edge to return from a neck injury. Look how long it took Daniel Bryan to return. Look how long it took Saraya to return. Look how long it took Lita to return.
No, for
Neck
sure.
injuries,
For sure, but I think
yeah.
for the purpose of the video, say your fantasy booking, because say his scans are perfect in March, which is obviously before Mania, and that allows him to come back, do what Adam Cole's doing, where he came back, he hadn't had a match for what, a month and a half, and now he's having his match. So bring him back nights after Mania, let him get ready for a month and a half, building up to a match, then you can have that match.
For the sole purpose of fantasy booking, yeah. Night after WrestleMania, I say, yeah, Biggie comes back. He does this his Adam Cole thing. So yeah, where he'll say he's retired, but hopefully he's healthy and he's ready to go. But I wouldn't say have him compete like next week on Raw. Like save it for a pay-per-view, really. Like show a couple of vignettes and of Biggie and his road to recovery, that type of stuff.
For sure, for sure. What you saying, Beanie Boy?
I've been quiet because I'm just thinking about the prospect of Big E returning and how I'd like him to return. I think it's quite difficult for me to place him in a particular storyline, and that's mainly because he's done that whole tag team thing. He's been part of the New Day. He's been world champion. And if you want to put him back there, obviously you can't shoot him straight into the title picture. And so I think I've got two thoughts in mind, both of which, okay, one of which are maybe likely, the other one maybe not so likely, but I think it would help him to just find his place in the grand scheme of things. The first would be to bring him back and have him feud for a mid-card title. And not immediately, but just like you're saying, give him some time, vignettes maybe, and then he goes on to win like a battle royal or a fatal four-way. That I think that's an easy way to put someone back into a place of prominence, that being the mid-card division. My second and most out-of-pocket fantasy booking would be for him to come back as a heel. And I think it's crazy because the last time we saw Big E as a heel, he was running around with AJD and Dolph Ziggler. But I'm just thinking, if you want to add a new element to this character, obviously we can't say, well, we can now because the Brawling Brutes are apparently faces. But I would say if you want him to come back and exact revenge, kayfabe revenge on Ridge Holland, then you can do that with him as a heel. You get what I'm saying? You can always go on and create, and yes, social media ruins a lot, especially for fantasy booking, because kayfabe dies on social media. So we've seen pictures of the New Day with Big E, and they're all happy and they're all cool. But I'd say have him come back and murk Kingston and Woods. I don't know. I know it's very far-fetched. I know it's extremely far-fetched. And I think the Ridge Holland direction is the easier one to take. But I really think for Big E to come back and feel like something new, feel like something fresh, I'd really turn him heel. I'd definitely turn him heel.
I see where you're coming from. And I'll agree with some of what you said, but I don't agree with him attacking Kofi and Xavier.
Yeah.
I rate you turn them all heel. All three.
Ooh.
The New Day is getting stale. I wouldn't say stale because they're still super over, but they don't really have storylines.
Right now, it's just the same running gag.
Exactly, it's just the same thing over.
2015.
Exactly. I think without Big E, they're also struggling because Big E was the life of that trio, if we're being really honest here, in terms of charisma and in terms of just his all-round feeling and his all-round vibe. But I'd say...
you gents just probably answered my question without me having to ask it. So yeah, I was going to ask, does the New Day split up or do they change their characters? And you guys just answered it like...
because they started as a heel faction, which is crazy to think about if you look at it now, but they started as a heel faction. So I think you can bring back the 5 count, the Big E 5 count, and turn the rest of the New Day heel and then let them run from there. That way Big E doesn't have to always do singles matches from the get-go as well. Maybe it's best he's in tag matches.
I think we just leave the 5 count because it's kind of like, I don't know, but I don't mind if they bring it back, but I just say, the purpose of...
I like the 5 count.
No.
I liked it.
That was good on NXT.
Yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe it buries too many talents on the main roster.
Yeah.
I feel like let's just leave the 5 count for the sole purpose of wanting Big E to have a refreshed character. Let's leave the 5 count. Let's leave the pancakes. Let's freshen up Big E. All right.
So how would you introduce him as a heel?
You see, that's my thing.
How do you get the crowd to boo the New Day? That's the question.
Well, if I had to say if you had to ask the question of how do I get the crowd to boo Big E, a simple attack, like it's just there, like
the thing is
this shit happened.
The thing is,
have them murk Sami Zayn and KO.
Yeah, that's probably the easiest way, because the thing is, the New Day is a different level of over. If we're being real now,
those guys are beyond.
Those guys are so over that you can put them in any crowd.
Beyond heel and face,
and they always get a reaction.
They're a brand.
Exactly.
Here's a little bit of a far-fetched question, and I want y'all to answer it. So, remember back in 2002 when Shawn Michaels returned, and then Triple H and him were going to reform DX, then Triple H pedigreed him, and then they had their classic rivalry like that. Do you think Big E should do something similar to that, really? Like, New Day reunites, or let me just say reunites. Big E makes the attack, leaves the arena, and then all of a sudden either Kofi or Xavier get caught up in a crash, and then it's a more of a whodunit situation, and then later on we find out it's Biggie. Do you think they should do something similar to that?
Firstly, this sounds like Vince Russo booking the show. But secondly,
yes.
It
worked in 2002, so
this is 2023, bro. Vince Russo's booking should be kept in 2002. But I get your points. I get the point you're trying to make, is that should Biggie basically do like a swerve and swerve the other two, and then we don't know who did it.
No pun intended.
So I don't want Biggie to attack any of them. I'm tired of factions always having to break up and tag teams always having to break up, and especially when you've got one that's lasted this long in the New Day.
But that's the point. What do they do after this, bro?
If they go heel, it's a different route. If they go heel,
yeah,
and then you have them play Threebird and hold the tag team titles and break their own record again.
No, not necessarily.
I don't know. I just
no. You could have Biggie
I
as
just feel like it's done.
But you could have Biggie as the single
reigns,
star.
please no.
Biggie as
No
the
long
single
title
star
reigns.
with the other two as now. I wouldn't say cronies, because then they're gonna end up like every other duo that follows another guy around and just get beat up every week. But Biggie as Biggie, yeah, the Bloodline, Imperium, all of them. But Biggie is the main guy, and the other two as the faction members. They don't have to be going for tag titles or Kofi.
So what do they do?
Bro, as a heel, there's so many different options. So many different options to what there is. KO and Sammy, they could go for him. They could go for... You could have Biggie versus Cody after he comes back. You could have... There's different things that we haven't been able to see previously because they wouldn't book face versus face.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know, bro. I just feel like if your plan is to have them tag again, and if you want them to win the tag team titles, I feel like that's washed. I feel like that's done in any format. Big E running the scene as a single heel would be so much better.
I'm only saying win the tag titles if Big E is holding a title of his own. I'm only saying making them a dominant faction in that sense. I'm not saying Kofi and Xavier should be holding titles while Big E is doing the Freebird rule. I'm not saying that at all. That's not what I want, because that's the same thing that I agree with. I'm talking as a faction holding different titles.
Exactly. But I know New Day have gone on to mention how they don't want to be the faction that broke up. They want to be the New Day until the day that they retire. They mentioned that on so many occasions. But also, man, it gets to the point where, okay, Big E's back. We're gonna get the same running gag with the New Day, and then, I just hope nobody turns on the New Day, because if you do, it's game over.
But that's what I want.
But yeah.
People need to turn on the New Day. They need to be heels. That's my opinion. You guys keep saying it's gonna be the same running gag, but I think it's gonna be totally different to what we've seen for the last 7 years, because they're heels. They've been faces for how long now? So I think it's be totally different. Totally different.
I just think it's gonna be easier to boo Big E than boo the New Day as a whole.
I actually disagree. I think Big E is just as over. I think they're all just as over as each other.
Yeah, that's fine. But it's easier to isolate someone and give him a heel push.
Maybe you're right. Maybe
you're
right.
Then have
who
an
in
entire,
their right mind is gonna
an entire brand like the New Day get booed.
Because who in their right mind is gonna boo Kofi Kingston? Who in their fucking right mind is gonna boo Kofi?
Yeah,
be honest.
I don't know.
It's risky business. Even whatever way you look at it, it's very risky business.
Maybe just keep them separate completely.
We could do that, but again, we're discussing this like there's only one option. We could still bring him back as a face, and we can fantasy book from there.
What if they just stay on separate brands again and do their own thing again? Big E can be a
as
heel.
They were doing before the injury.
Yeah, but Big E can be a heel this time, and you could start leading in slowly later on in Big E's run as a heel. The other two members being like, "What's going on? What's happening?" You know what I'm saying? And then you could eventually say after I don't know how long have the reuniting of the New Day, and then it'll feel fresh again.
Maybe, but yeah, Eish, fantasy booking is so fucking difficult, man. Yo.
Especially in this situation.
Yeah.
Especially in this situation.
Because on the one hand, we want Biggie to be a heel. Well, yeah, we want Biggie to turn heel, and then if he turns heel, New Day, like Kofi and Xavier, don't get involved with him. They be on separate bands. On the other hand, New Day turning heel, it refreshes them, but at the same time, it's very tricky. It's very tricky
to get people to boo them is tricky.
Yeah, but we'll see how it goes. But this is just our opinion on how we would book Biggie.
I got
one
more question before we go. Do we see Biggie win another world title? Take into account, will he even return? So let's bring it back away from the fantasy booking and let's look at it as in, will he return and will he win another world title?
If I see Brock Lesnar beat him for the WWE title again, then yeah, no.
Oh gosh.
Listen, my thing is, right, with neck injuries, you never know how long a superstar has left. And yes, we could say, like MPKH mentioned in the intro, all the superstars who left for almost a decade, only to come back and be somewhat on top of their game, as good as they can be after an injury. So if you, exactly. So if you, again, it's very difficult to say, because you could say bring him back and not have him win a title, and then after a year he's forced to retire completely. Then that's a missed opportunity. But then we could also say give him a title as soon as possible, so that if he retires, then he has a good send-off, then he never retires, and it's just another wasted title run. So I think as a positive, as a feel-good, as something that we'd like to see as fans of Big E, whether as a heel or a face, I'd definitely give him another title. Again, Brock should be very far away from that title run.
Yeah, very far away from
that title run
as a whole. So yeah.
But yeah, I'd definitely give him another run.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I feel like Biggie is owed a proper world title run, and him coming back, I feel like it's gonna take like a few more years.
Yeah,
like WrestleDrop said, because possibility is we might not even see him next year Royal Rumble or in 2025. We might see him God knows when. But yeah,
true, very, very true, very true. All right, I think take us with the outro.
So yeah, guys, so that was our fantasy booking and how we think Big E should return back to the WWE. Let us know in the comments what way you would want to return Big E, as a face, as a heel, with the New Day or without the New Day. Let us know below. And if you did enjoy this video, please stomp on that like button, stomp on that subscribe button, and stomp on that bell icon to be notified when your favorite 3 Stomp Boys appear next on your screen. It could be 3 of us, 2 of us, 1 of us, whoever. Just click it so you don't miss out. And yeah, thanks guys. Peace.